I'm
Yeah,
not
you
doing
finger
that.
it.
I don't even know its name. I didn't take it to dinner.
No. What if it was a girlfish? I played baseball. I did
No.
tackle football.
What's wrong with you? Phallus sounds like another word that sounds like it's...
Phallic is what you're thinking.
Yep.
Sexual, of course.
Yes.
Your lip gloss skank. For this to have made the list. Is this your favorite lip gloss? Sugar water.
Sugar water.
Sugar water. Whip it out my window. Like this.
I thought you were just going to say you whip it out.
I see the word glow and I whip. So Kevin's making fun of me for my straight outfit.
You're giving me a million reasons to let you go.
He says I'm in my Joanne era in this.
It is very like, I'm going to go pick up trade at the Wawa bathroom.
Yeah.
And then call them a after and then punch them in the face and run them over with my lifted Ford F-150.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my makeup on my face and the skinny jeans, bleach blonde hair is kind of tipping it a little bit the other direction, but yeah.
Maybe.
I know. God, you hire a co-host and then he's homophobic. Yeah. No, geez. No, it's funny. I love a good flannel. Do you ever flannel it up?
No, I have taste.
Oh, do you ever go fishing?
I used to as a kid.
Fishing.
I used to as a kid.
Before we get into fishing, hi guys, welcome back to Beautiful and Bothered. Before we go on one of our iconic rants at this point, today's episode, we are talking about makeup that should have gone viral. Not just makeup, we have tools, perfume.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're talking about makeup that should have gone viral because I really feel like social media drives because it's so overcrowded, the entire conversation. That it kind of overshadows what is even brought to people's attention because there's so much stuff. So this is stuff we wish could have gone viral to kind of make you more aware of it. So almost think of this as like a best of the best. But in past, we've only done like maybe only drugstore, only high end. So this is like a mix of everything. When I was going through the list, making my stuff, it's stuff that over the course of like the past couple of years, I was really sitting there thinking, what are products or tools, et cetera, that I have never left my routine.
Oh, there are products that I picked that I've been using for over 10 years.
Yes.
That are full staples that I can't, if they ever got discontinued, I'm done. I'm quitting everything.
Yes, have never been topped.
Yeah.
And newer stuff.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, you can't relate. Things that also are new that have like floored us that blew stuff out of the water before that.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, that's really what we're going to talk about today. Fishing.
Fishing. And then I have to tell you about my near homophobic.
Can you chill? Like getting attacked?
I was preparing for the worst.
Yeah.
I started to accept it. I was I think this is happening right now, but I was like, it's during the day and it's in public and there's too many people around. So is it going to happen? But anyway, let's talk about fishing first and then we'll get to that.
Okay. Yes.
Did you ever go fishing as a kid?
Very rarely. Like we owned fishing poles, but I just remember anytime
Was it a stick with string?
Yeah. Yes. Literally, yes. It was like kids, probably Fisher Price fishing poles or whatever.
I love
little,
that.
yeah. I don't think I hate anything more. No hate to people who like fishing. There's gonna be
no, Mama. Hate to people who like fishing.
Just has to.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. That has to be the straightest activity.
Now, where did you go fishing as a kid?
Blocked it out.
Okay.
A body of water.
So there was a reservoir in my town growing up that my dad would have to like go and like check on it. My dad was a cop growing up. So it pertains to the story because they would send cops in there to make sure and patrol the area.
There was no dead bodies.
Yeah.
Really?
People would try and go like swimming in it and then like I think there was somebody that died in there.
Yeah.
And like something had happened where there was either a near death experience because there was like houses along the perimeter. So cops would be sent in to check it, whatever, and make sure people didn't like break in because it wasn't like open to the public.
Yeah.
So we like would go all the time,
so
whatever.
Naturally you went to it.
Yeah. So I would have to be like sitting there and I would go just for like the experiences, try and spend time with like my dad and my brothers, whatever. Yeah. But like going there, I just like wouldn't want anything to do with it. There used to be like a mound of like sand and I just used to dig in it for hours because I was so bored and I would just like sit there. Yes. So then I did fishing, did it. I remember catching a fish.
Yeah.
And there was probably other times, but there was one in particular. I had a Scooby-Doo fishing pole.
Aww.
RIP to that fishing pole because it was like how do I make this gay?
Yeah.
Catch a fish, reel it. My dad was like, reel it in. And we always did catch and release. Like
Yes.
we were never like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Reel it in. Oh yeah, bite the head off Ozzy Osbourne, just the bat head and throw it. So, reel this shit in. I panicked. I was like, ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, ew, Dad.
I know.
I was like, ew, it's like squirming.
I know. Well, that was always the added thing. I'm like, not only is this the most boring thing alive, like, but then I'm like, oh, we're hooking a sharp needle in a fish's mouth.
And they feel it.
And it's flopping and dying for our enjoyment. And then we just
we're like, ha ha.
Yeah.
And then they have fucking mouth wounds. It was out of the water. I handed him the pole. He goes, okay, I'm going to hold it. Now put your thumb in its mouth and unhook it. I said, Mary, I'll hold the pole. You do that. I'm not doing that.
It.
I don't even know its name. I didn't take it to dinner.
I know. What if it was a girl fish?
And I just remember the smell of the fish coming near me. I was like,
I know.
I was like, get it away from me, please. And it was like the fact that it was alive and I was like, you stick it in its mouth to like hold.
I know.
Never did it. Never will. I'm sorry. No. And then deep sea fishing. Mary, I'm not trying to get jawsed out here.
Totally. Did you ever do that?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
No, but my dad had a boat and we would go out on the boat in like this, I'm going to call it like a bay. There was no fear of like sharks ever.
Yeah.
Right? Because a bay is freshwater, not saltwater, correct?
Yes.
So, no, you see, no, Mary, because there was like crabs in the water. There was like, I remember where we went, there was like horseshoe crabs. I don't know. You didn't come here for marine life biology. Yeah. They were like, oh yeah, be careful when you get out. Like there's like horseshoe crabs and they'll just like, what? My toe?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah. And I was like,
no.
Get away from me.
Yeah,
I was like, no, I can't.
We went crabbing, but I was really little. I almost had lobstering in my head before I said this out loud. And
Rich.
I was so little, I remember just like whatever they call it would be on the dock. And then it would be like running at me on the dock. And I just remember like running away from it as a little
You take your
kid.
pink Crocs and you're like hitting it.
As a gay kid, when you did things, even at whatever age that you knew were like overly masculine activities. For me, at least, there was such an added pressure of like, oh, I need to really
perform this and sell it.
Sell that I'm enjoying this.
Like I was doing Hello Dolly level of like performance.
100%.
I was like,
full show.
Curtain call. Like the curtains open up and I'm like,
I was Gordon's fisherman.
Horrible.
I worked for Gordon's. That's how that's the level I was selling it to. Yeah. Did you eat fish sticks as a kid?
I did not. I know I had them probably.
Drum roll, rich. I loved a good fish stick.
Can we talk about what I walked in on? That was sitting on the fucking floor you had sitting there. Yeah. Hamburger motherfucking helper.
Cheeseburger, hamburger helper. And Casey adds broccoli to it. It's really good. It was so good. I love hamburger helper. Yeah. Not the squeak. I love it.
That is wrong.
No.
Yep.
Well, I feel like it was split between people agreeing with you and me in the
I feel like I need to try it now. Maybe we need to make it one day and just like
eat it on camera.
Yeah, and I'm like nervous, but we should do a little taste test. So let us know if you're interested in seeing me vomit on camera.
Were you in Boy Scouts?
Never.
Oh my God.
Mary, I knew enough not to go there because the gay fear and panic. Are you kidding me?
I did Boy Scouts. I played baseball. I did tackle football.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
What is wrong with you,
So my mom was like one of the Girl Scout leaders for my sister. I had to go there because like my dad worked and my mom was doing that after school with them. So I was there, I don't even know, from like first grade to like fourth grade, whatever, fifth grade maybe, whenever they were doing it. And I said to my mom, are there like Boy Scouts? And she was like, yeah. My gay ass thought, because I was like a pseudo Girl Scout, I thought it was just boys
doing
blowing
what they
pine
were doing.
Cones. Yeah, making pine cone
and
crafts.
Then sewing skirts.
I thought it was like cookies and crafts. That's what I thought it was.
Well, Mary, I always wanted Girl Scouts.
In hindsight, I should have just stayed there.
I wanted to be a brownie.
Yeah, I should have just stayed there. I wanted to be a brownie and I wanted a brownie.
Yeah.
Yes. And I joined Boy Scouts. I did it like too long. That was horrible. Like in the woods, like overnight camping in a tent. Did I ever tell you the baseball story of how I became the pitcher on my baseball team?
No.
I was younger. I had to be in like 6th, 7th grade. I was always horrible. Every team I was on, last pick, I was in one of the outfield, whatever, because I would like kick grass and like play with the dirt. And I always was like pissed because I was like, I'm not doing anything. Cut to the next year, my coach says to everybody, like kind of getting a feel for what people had done. He was like, okay, so what positions has everyone played? Like, have you done this? My dumb ass in my head, I go, I'm going to lie. I'm going to say I've pitched. So he takes me seriously. Start out, say you've been president, and then I'll settle for Secretary of State. I say to him, I'm like, yeah. I was like, I pitched. Doesn't miss a beat. Goes, okay, you're the pitcher. Whole season.
Were you good at it?
Do you know how many people I hit with the ball? I had to become good at it.
Like, oh my God.
And I went home to my dad and I was like, you have to teach me how to pitch. Me and this other kid pitched the entire season and I had to like teach myself how to pitch.
How did you hit people?
With the ball. Like when I was pitching.
The person batting.
The batter. I hit the batter.
You hit the batter. Okay. Because I was like, did you throw it to like the bleed? I almost said the stadium.
The stadium. Yeah.
We were in
Fenway Park. No, I hit batters. Yeah.
Oh my God. Like in the head?
No, I don't think in the head. Like probably in the leg or the side.
Fierce, Mary.
Yeah. I will say it was better than I thought, but I never should have like lied about it. I regret that decision.
This is what you get for lying on that resume, girl.
I know. And then I did football, 2 years of flag, 1 year of tackle. I was always on the bench, especially in tackle, because that whole situation.
Aren't you glad you were?
Oh my God, Kevin. I have visceral memories of getting out of the car for football practice and like getting the pads on. And when I tell you that's like the earliest memories I have of being physically sick to my stomach of like, this is hell on earth. Like I want to get out of this at all costs.
My only sports thing I ever did was kindergarten soccer.
Oh my God.
The kinder kickers.
Yeah.
And
so gay.
Mary, I remember there was one day, I remember this like it was yesterday. My mom and my cousin were watching me at like the sideline. Everyone's running. I stop in my tracks. I look at them and I say, I'm not doing this.
Yeah. Let's go get some ice cream.
I was like, I'm not doing this. Yeah. And everyone was like running. And I remember my coach was one of the kids' dads.
Yeah.
And he was like, come on, like, let's go. And I was like, honestly, can I just do like the goalie thing? He's not doing anything. And he was like, And it was his son, I think. And I was like, oops, sorry. Oh my God, I cannot. We had very different experiences growing up.
I also did 3 years of basketball.
Okay. What age did you do this from?
Oh my God. Baseball and football were younger. Like that had to be,
like
I don't
how
know.
old? Were you doing tackle football?
Whatever the first year you can do tackle is. Like, so I don't know. Maybe I was like 11 or 12 or something.
Oh, girl.
And then baseball was around that time as well. Before that and during it. And then basketball wasn't until 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. I don't think I did it in 8th grade, I want to say. But again, horrible at basketball, at least, yeah. But I was horrible at football. I never was in. And I'll never forget, like, near the end of the season, our head coach, who was petrifying, never spoke to me. We were scrimmaging. So, like, us playing, half and half our team. And so they needed me because it was a scrimmage. And I'll never forget, it was like the end of the season. The head coach, like, opens up the playbook and is like, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this. And this was the end of the season. That's the day I learned there was like plays. Like I thought they just said
ran
hike
around
and everyone was like just ran around and fucking tried to tackle someone. Like I didn't know there was like a strategy to it. I swear to God. I swear to God. I just thought it was a free for all.
Just wild turkey. Just running around.
Like I didn't know there was a plan. I didn't know there was a plan. So I look at him and I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm looking at the things and the lines. What do you mean I got to run here? And I see the X's and the O's. When I tell you he looked at me with so much disgust. And I was just like, thank God.
Knew.
Oh yeah. It was like one of the last things of the season. I was like, wow, I am, that's how unused I was that all my years in football,
you didn't even
the coaches
know.
never even thought to like describe what a play was to me because that's how useless
well,
they
honestly,
thought
but
I was.
like, how do they expect kids to find out about it? Like, if somebody doesn't explain.
Well, where I played football, like the town I grew up in, was very much the typical stereotype of a bunch of dads that were mad that they didn't become professional football players. All of their sons that they like held a gun to their head to play football. All of their sons were the star football players and their sons' friends. And anyone everyone else that they wasn't in their circle, they acted like we were on the Patriots. Everybody else, they just ignored because it was like they took it as seriously as like professional football.
You know what I've always wondered too, especially with like kids games like that, with like parents that get like very competitive.
Yeah.
Do you think they place money down on those games?
Oh, maybe.
Do you think they like bet on their kids?
I believe it.
They hand their kid like a knife and he's like, yeah, number 12.
Yeah, shank him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mama's got 200 on this. Yeah, totally.
Take him out at the knee.
Yes.
Have
Do
like
what you
a
gotta do.
sledgehammer and just like,
Absolutely.
oh my God.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
You did not have to deal with that trauma.
Yeah,
Good
because
for you.
I knew very early on that I was more of like an artsy kind of kid. Oh my God. I have memories of going to after school hours too. I always did art classes, whatever. But after school, I did these pottery classes. I did ceramics and everything. And I wanted to be so creative. And I was like, no, this is what I want to do in my free time. Like, I don't want to do sports. I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, you don't have to. Like,
Wow.
Don't get that like twisted. Just
for
because you're a
you.
boy doesn't mean you have to do this shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, work. And my parents always were like super supportive of me doing like art stuff. And like, I couldn't have been more grateful that they didn't try
Push you into
to like
it.
push me into it. My mother knew.
Yeah.
Kindergarten, when I looked at her when she was on that field and I said, I'm not doing this, I think she knew.
I know.
And I was like, girl, this ain't for me. This ain't it. Because my brother did like hockey and shit. I was like, oh.
No. And I think I like slowed down with everything like 6th, 7th, 8th grade because that's when I discovered theater and Barbra Streisand.
Oh my
So
God.
the rest was history.
Yeah.
The minute I saw Funny Girl, that was a wrap.
It wasn't Funny Girl.
Yeah. That was a wrap. And the rest was history because then it was theater.
Well, I'm glad that ended last year.
Totally.
And you finally found out last year that this is what you wanted to do.
Hung up my pads.
Yeah, you learned about Cher last year.
Yes.
Love that
without
for you.
a doubt. Childhood trauma. All right, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back with your near-death experience homophobic story and then our products that should have gone viral.
We'll be right back. So the other day I was going to get gas before work, I'm fully glammed out.
Yes.
And so,
For work.
So
you
I
just
was
said
like,
that.
you're like glammed out for work. For work?
For work.
For work.
Work. What time was it?
I will not say, but I'm going to say the hour was 12 and you decide.
It was between 12 and 2 a.m.
So I was getting gas and I, pull in, whatever. And I always we've talked about this when I have that fear of when I'm fully glammed out. I don't want to go.
No.
There are certain places where I'm just not going to go, but
Totally.
a gas station, I've done it, whatever.
Yeah.
And so for those of you who don't know, that in New Jersey, you don't pump your own gas. There's attendants. So I was in New Jersey getting gas and I was on my way to work and the guy comes up. I rolled down my window. He is walking towards the front of my car. So I see him coming. So I'm getting my card and I go to turn to my open window and I was like, oh, hi, fill it regular. He's staring at me and won't take the card yet.
Oh, God.
What felt like
An eternity
was probably a few seconds and he goes, okay. And takes my card. So I was like, okay,
Here
all
we
right.
go.
Because then I could tell he put my card in and did the whole thing with my gas cap, whatever. The gas was flowing. I could hear it. And he's on the side of it, still standing by my car.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck?
And
so
now you're trapped because it's your.
Oh, Mary, I would pull away and rip it out an old person when they rip it out of the thing and drive away with it. So I'm sitting in my car and I'm my window is still down because I'm whatever. If this guy needs to say something, more power to you, be a dick. He kind of looks at me again and I look out the window.
Yeah.
And he goes, do you do a drag queen? And I said, do I do a what? I said, I'm sorry, come again? Do I what? And I immediately got defensive. Do I do a drag queen?
Yes.
And I said, no. And I made him repeat himself. And he's like, so you don't do drag? I said, no.
Yeah.
I said, why are you asking?
Is there something on my face?
Yeah. Full on Pearl, is there something on my face? And he was like, no, I'm just asking because you're
gay.
And I was like, I'm what? I'm like, come on, bitch. Say it.
Yeah.
Say it, bitch. And he's like, no, you just have makeup on and you look nice. Maybe you should. And I was like, ew. He's and what I thought was homophobia turned out to be
sexy.
He was getting a little raunch, and he was like, "No, maybe you should." He's like, "You already look great," and I was like,
"Pretty girl."
Yeah, back of the hand stroking my face.
Yeah, because you just do you do drag? Yeah,
do I do a drag queen?
Yeah.
And I was like, I was so uncomfortable, and he's just looking at me. The other person's thing, you hear the gas pop when it's done, and his the person in front of me went off, and I was like,
yeah. Yeah.
You should attend to the other person. And he like wasn't leaving my car. And then he was like, I hope you have a great day. And I was like, you too. Oh, holy And I like rolled the window up and I was like, oh my God.
It's so weird.
And I have never had, no, that's a lie. I was going to say I've never had somebody hit on me with makeup on or who I thought was homophobic. And then, but that's happened before too, where it like feels homophobic and then they come out of left field where he didn't break like the inflection in his voice. So it still sounded kind of like, what's your problem? Like you're the problem. So I was like a little afraid. It was so weird. I went home and told Dan about it. He's like, ooh. I was like, no, shut up.
No, that is
it's
wild.
Uncomfortable. Maybe he didn't feel comfortable in the setting he was in. And maybe he comes across a lot of people that it's hard for him to hit on a customer.
Yeah.
But maybe don't.
I don't really think hitting on people should be his priority.
And you have about maybe a minute and a half. This is worse than speed dating. Do not try and get in my DMs right now. And I was like, this feels very forced. You're coming out the gate a little hot.
Wow.
Just staring at me.
Yeah.
Mind you, because then I'm thinking about it when I left, I was like, whether he was interested or not, he came across more interested than I would have liked. But maybe coming out the gate, you shouldn't be staring at me like you want to rearrange my insides on the outside. How about that?
Yeah.
You look like you want to gut me and hang up my intestines and like hang them up on shower curtains, girl. Like you're scaring me. Like it was a little like ooky spooky, I'm going to kill you, but I'm attracted to you kind of vibe.
And isn't that crazy? Because we're obviously being gay guys. We're in such a weird niche where doing makeup, doesn't it make you feel so bad for women that have to go through that? Constantly. Like the guy at the club, like, hey girl, like all the time.
Did I ever tell you my club experience?
No. Oh God.
So again, but that weird kind of like insinuating, oh, we're in this environment, this is all going to be welcomed kind of thing, which I feel bad for people that go through this, like especially women on the regular go through this, like you're saying, like it's horrible. And there was a girl that I knew, she was getting drinks at the bar, like she was talking to the bartender. I was just kind of like, oh, like, yeah, give me this, whatever. The girl was like trying to talk to me and she was like, oh my God, how have you been? I was like, fine, whatever. And like brushing her, I don't really know her.
Yeah.
I like turned to my friend, get our drinks. And then she was like, oh, wait, before you go, like my friend wants to like, know, like if you want to like, you know, hook up or whatever. And so I look right past her at him and I was like, so if you had something to say to me, you could just say it. I said, we're grown adults. And I said, I think that's really weird.
You're liaisoning.
You're making your friend hit on me. Like, like I have a crush on him, like circle yes or no and give it to him. Like, she was like, oh, can he buy you a drink? I said, I have one. He can keep it. Yeah. And I walked away. I was like, no.
I never went like clubbing. And the one time I went to a club that it was hysterical. We went for a friend of mine's birthday. So it was like my sister and her boyfriend, now her husband, was there. This is my brother-in-law who Travis and Trevor is inspired by. So keep that in mind. Obviously with Travis and Trevor is like, there's obviously, when I started making those skits, there's an element of like them being uncomfortable in that situation. My brother-in-law isn't, but we're at the club and this gay guy, like comes up and starts like hitting on John, my brother-in-law. And he is like standing there and he's like oblivious because he's so nice. And he's like, yeah, man, like, you know, but like talk to him, whatever. And then I don't know if he asked for his number, whatever the case is. And then he was like, oh no, sorry. Like, and he's like, that's my girlfriend. Like, and he like points at my sister. So he does that. Then this guy goes over to another guy, gets rejected, and then comes over to me. So I'm third choice. So comes over to me and I know this is the case because he tried to do it with two people we were with. Yeah. In our group. Comes over to me and starts like telling me, like his opening line was like, am I going to Pride? And I'm like, no. Like, and starts saying how he's like, he hasn't been eating and he was like a bigger dude. Like he was like muscly, more masculine looking. And especially at the time I was even skinnier than I am now. I was like rail thin. Starts telling me how he hasn't been eating for a couple months, barely eating because he's trying to fit into his Speedo at Pride, yada, yada. And I'm like, like this is something I can relate to. And I'm like in hell. And then he says to me, dead serious, he's like, after we've been talking for like 3 minutes, he's like, wow, he's like, you're like 90% like less queenie than I thought you were going to be. And
I would have slapped the fuck out of him.
And I look at him and I go, you're the one talking about how you're anorexic because you're trying to fit into a Speedo at Pride and you have the audacity to tell me about how masculine or feminine you think I am after you just hit on two people in my party and are only coming up to me because they're both straight. Have a good one. Like, you an asshole. Yeah. Like, it just was the worst.
God.
That's why I never went out clubbing or did anything like that.
When I would go to like bars or clubs or whatever the case, like I would never get to the point where I was like blackout drunk. I would eventually get sick from like the car ride.
The sidewalk hot dog you ate.
The gray water hot dog that I used to eat.
Yeah.
100%. And then the hot dog too on top of that.
Totally.
Yeah. Like every time you go there, like I have my wits about me where people go there to black out and they don't care where they end up. I'm like, I can't go into a space where I'm not in control.
Totally.
And then but seeing people like out of control come up to me and trying to hold a conversation, I'm like,
have a good one.
Keep it pushing.
I know.
Like get out. When I see somebody coming, I want to be like, no.
Yeah.
And just I cannot. I can't stomach that. I would say from like 21 to 22, even just that year alone, I was like going out a lot. And then I was like, this is not it. I hate this. I fucking hate this shit. I know. Because it's like, it's just the environment. Like, I don't want to be in a sweaty basement, essentially. The music's too loud.
So loud.
I can't hear what you're saying and you're this far away from me.
I know.
I'm like trying to read your lips. Like, I'm like, Like, the drinks are $15. It ain't worth it. I'd rather be having like a game night at home with like dinner and snacks and drinks.
Totally. Yeah. Let's watch Funny Girl.
Yeah. No, what I'm serious.
Yeah, I just want to stay home and have a Barbra Streisand marathon.
Oh, maybe not that.
Yeah. Girl.
Not that.
Don't come for Barbra Streisand. All right. Well, let's take a break and come back with our products that should have been viral.
Yes.
All right, girl, we are back with our products that should have been viral. So this is one of yours to start it. So let's kick it off.
Yes. So this is actually not the OG.
Yes.
The Sephora collection number 47 was the OG. This had come along after. So it's the Ulta Beauty number 12 foundation brush. And my God, they did it right. And they did it for half the price.
You turned me onto this. I mean,
how long ago? That was
5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. It was because this was right as I started doing bridal makeup almost 6 years ago.
Was it really?
Turned me onto this.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, did you ever use it as a concealer brush?
Yes.
Oh my God. As a concealer brush, this is how I started using this type of brush because I was like, oh, it fits right in like underneath the eye and everything. And I loved the shape of it. And then using as like a foundation brush, blending out contour, cream blush, everything. It is my do it all. I will say the density of this one was better than the Sephora. And now the Sephora one is actually redone now. They redid the bristles so it's more domed and not as just flat. So this one, though, the way that they crafted the brush, I have so many of these at home.
You want another gag? I never used a brush for foundation until you made me buy this.
Shut up.
Because I was a beauty blender person.
I was always a brush person.
A beauty blender.
And yeah, that's right. I was always brushes. You were more beauty blender for foundation.
I would say is like honestly the very first liquid makeup brush that, or I should say the very first makeup brush I started using with liquid that turned me on and I never looked back. Speaking of which, should we grab the House Labs concealer brush? Where is she?
Is that outside or no? It's in here.
I think I brought it.
You grabbed it. Oh God, it's in the mound.
Do you want to tell people about the concealer?
I actually just posted a video on Instagram. Oh my God, yes,
Kevin, your little and TikTok.
And TikTok, yes.
This one's doing makeup reviews finally. I mean, you've done other ones. But
yes. Oh my God.
Follow
but now
Kevin on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah. So I finally got into it. And then I recently got the House Labs. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I can't wait to try it. Because I was a little nervous not being able to feel it or see the shades. So they were like, pick shades that you think. And they actually ended up picking shades that were better for me that I didn't even know. And let me tell you something. This is amazing. It's a depuffing concealer that smooths out. It's going to blur. And this actually, like for a concealer to claim that it's blurring and smoothing and depuffing, I feel like it's the first one on the market that actually does what it claims. Now the brush, let me tell you something about this brush, Mary. Okay, so we finally found the brush and concealer. So this is an amazing concealer. Like I was saying, it's a medium to full coverage, amazing for mature skin.
Yes.
And let me tell you about this brush. So back to the brush.
Which
oh my God, tell me.
We said this when we were talking about this, that we hoped it wasn't going to be like the foundation.
Just
where
like
it was
the foundation texture.
We wanted a hydrating thing. And I said on that episode, I hope it's a more full coverage version of the NYX Serum Concealer. It's exactly what it is.
It literally is exactly what it is.
Again, House Labs, not sponsored. Doesn't even send me PR after millions of followers. So we're going to give you free product placement.
Oh my God.
Put it right there.
Listen.
And then the concealer brush, which you little gay nugget, which people were saying last week they're going to make a thing, or 2 weeks ago. He bought this for me, shows up with this, and the concealer. Look at this one.
I know.
The concealer brush. Look at this.
Well, I wanted you to experience it too, and I wanted it to be your shades too.
Yes.
So I didn't want you to just try my shades because we're a little different. So I was like, I looked up Johnny's foundation shade and then matched the concealers, and then
which it was spot on.
Let me tell you something. When shades are suggested, because I even said this in my review, I was like, or maybe it got cut out and I might have took it out. But usually when they suggest a shade, I'm like, yeah, Mary, don't tell me what to do.
Yes.
Don't tell mama what to do. I will pick for myself. Thank you.
Totally.
And the shades I picked for myself, and then when they sent them in, I was like, wow, they like completely just like whatever, like screw me and what I wanted. Spot on. I was wrong and they were right.
You were saying for me, they also, you can pick like one that matches you and then one that brightens.
And they give you on the Sephora website, they give you the one that brightens and one that matches. And that's how I found these for you. It literally said to get 4 and 13 for you.
It's exactly
I said,
what
how
worked.
would they even know? And they're two different undertones for you. It's weird.
Because I was between, for my under eyes, this was 4. I was between 3 and 4. They were both as brightening, but 4 had a little bit more of a yellowy, or I should say peach in it, that it color corrected and covered more. So it was spot on. So I would say if you guys are on the fence, like, or want to match yourself and you know your foundation shade,
go to Sephora.com.
Trust the finder. And then this brush, it's very much like this, the same density with that domed. And I mean, this fits like a dream.
And it's literally a mini size of the foundation brush. Yes. I thought it was going to be too small. When I opened up the box and I saw mine, I almost passed out. I was like, it is the perfect concealer brush, the perfect size. Gorgeous. And I fell in love with it. So House Labs, we need to hop on that PR list, girl.
I know.
It's about time. It's about damn time.
I've tried. It's about damn time. Yeah.
We don't know if it's about damn time yet. But anyway, back to the Ulta Beauty.
Absolutely incredible.
This is one of my favorites. I wish, and I don't wish this would go viral. The only reason why I wish it would go viral is that they don't discontinue it.
Yes. And you know what's crazy? I'm also a proponent of foundation brushes like that compared to something that's more of a buffing brush. So this is the Smashbox one. I like this because I can still use something like this to do the same. But the reason I like something like that, where that is almost like, let's call it a paddle brush, is because I don't like foundation brushes, big Jagunda ones that you buff like this, because it just aggravates texture. It just is bringing all that texture up.
I stipple with that one. Yes. I like press in the skin.
I use this almost like a beauty blender where you're going like this. With something like that, I am going to, I go down because that's the way the baby hair, the phallus hair, the dead skin, etc. That's the direction. Phallus hair is like almost the little peach fuzz invisible hair. That's like the term for it.
Phallus sounds like another word that sounds like
phallic is what you're thinking.
Yep.
Sexual, of course.
Yes.
Slut. I love to go down with it because I feel like that doesn't aggravate texture as much, as why I love that. But the contour on this brush just hugs the nose. It puts everything on like a dream.
I love this one.
Oh my God. 10 out of 10.
So if you ever see this, get a few of them. You're going to thank me later. One for concealer, one for foundation. Don't be mixing those colors. And then get one for like cream blush and bronzer to like blend that out.
Yes.
Amazing.
To die for.
Amazing. All right. What do we have next?
What's the official name of this? We have the Trixie Cosmetics Bronzing Stick, right?
Yeah.
Is that all it's called? So, my God, this is newer. And the reason I have to add this is because A, the shades are so perfectly placed out. B, this completely dupes my Hindash liquid contour, where it is that beautiful consistency. It's what I'm wearing today. It goes on like butter and is the perfect neutral across the board, where it's a one and done product. Like I'm not doing right now, when you really want to do natural makeup, I'm not going to do contour and bronzer. And especially even when I do super just light makeup like I have on right now, I will tend to do a more cool tone like contour powder, because I think it looks more natural than orangey or tannish bronzer when you're not doing a full beat. So that's what I love about this, that it's neutral. So it really is a one and done thing, but it has that cream to powder, almost dry down, stay in place, doesn't make me more oily, but beautiful amount of blend time. And I use shade number 3, Sunset Tina. And this, for me, the packaging, the price, if you want an amazing cream bronzer, especially as we head into winter and you get a little bit more dry, I think that is actually the time where I want to use more creams, and I can use more creams because I'm not getting as oily in the winter. So this is just 10 out of 10.
I've been waiting to get my hands on this, and every single time I go on the website, it's sold out. Every shade. I think they have maybe the last 2 shades are in stock. The other shades are completely gone. For like a smaller company, they take forever. So I'm like waiting. But I think I'm going to get either probably the first or the second one. And I'm just like, I'm going to scream. Trixie Cosmetics, restock this immediately. I can't wait.
Honorable mention here, I got to put in the cream blushes. It's not the exact same formula, but it's the same packaging, twist up, just as beautiful.
I know. I love those. I have a few of those at home, and I ordered them when they first came out, and I regret the day that this launched. I wanted to get this and the t-shirt, and they both sold out.
The t-shirt. I was so pissed. I wanted that. And I said I want it because I missed the pillow.
Yeah.
And then I missed the t-shirt. Because the t-shirt sold out. I went 5 minutes after it launched.
Yeah.
It was gone.
Oh, yeah. I know. Trixie Cosmetics really pops off. You got to set an alarm and be ready. At the ready.
And this will work on every single skin type. Mature skin, dry skin, oily skin. It is hydrating enough for dry and mature, but it has the dry down and the cream to powder where it's not going to settle on mature skin, and it's not going to make oilier combo more oily.
This formula is stunning. And the shade range is perfect.
It's a perfect product.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. So next up, we have the Sephora Collection High Precision Eyeliner. I said that's so weird. Did that not come out weird?
You did it in one breath. So there was a high precision eyeliner.
Yeah, Trixie. Trixie.
If it's not clear, also we're going back and forth. So the brush was your pick, Trixie was mine, and now this is yours. We're kind of rotating. So
yes. So this eyeliner has been one of my favorites. I think since I started at Sephora when it was 2013, they completely rebranded. Oh no.
Mama need more juice.
You are a juicy. Juicy juice. Do you remember Juicy Juice?
I never got Juicy Juice because my mom was like, that is sugar water.
Sugar water.
Sugar water. That scene in Men in Black scarred me when I was little.
Wait, and then he goes,
yes, him not fitting in the skin.
Yeah.
Sugar.
I want sugar water.
Literally.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That haunted me for years.
Oh, same.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Anyway, so I love this eyeliner. This has been around since the dawn of time.
Yes.
And they used to have a lot of products in the same kind of packaging, different colors, all that, yada, yada.
Oh, they did have colors of this. Yeah.
Well, not of this particular formula.
Really? Okay.
You're thinking of the same packaging, different colors like the brown, the blue, the gray, the green.
Yeah.
It wasn't this brush.
Oh,
so this one is the bristles. The other one were the felt marker style, which is fine. But this, what I love about it is the perfect wing eyeliner every time. This is not a waterproof formula. Comes off with water. My eyes always tear. This does not move. This does not run. You go to take it off though, and it's off like a dream. The most sharp lines you will ever make in your life.
Wow.
$12, I think.
Wow.
$12 or $14. It's insanely affordable. There are so many like this on the market. This is the best one I've ever tried. I've tried the Milani. I've tried the e.l.f. I've tried every single brush tip dip like inkwell liner. Yeah. This is by far the mattest black liner. There is no vinyl. It dries down to a matte black finish. When I left Sephora, I literally bought 5 of these.
I know.
I was like, I need to stock up. It's
that was
so
the best
silly.
part of our Sephora discount was Sephora collection because we got
40%
off. In your own words, why is a matte eyeliner better? Because obviously I know why, but if you want to,
I personally, and even I always liked a matte eyeliner to differentiate between my shimmer shadows and then my matte liner. And it gave you more.
It looks cleaner.
It gives you a cleaner punch to the eye too, because that matte line, since there's no light reflecting off of it.
Yes.
Sometimes with like a satin liner can catch light and then it almost looks like your eyeliner is like a little too like hazy and it skips and it's not clean.
It's showing the texture on your skin. It's showing any imperfection. When you think matte black eyeliner, think Adele.
Yes.
That is like
on that album cover where it's just like her eyes.
Whoever
where it's just like up to that
her goddamn eyeliner
for that
on
wing
her
liner.
album covers, I hope is living a blessed life because
it's probably dead with how long he had to sit there and do it.
And we're going to talk about something. This is how insane we are. I know you're going to understand this. Adele's eyeliner literally made me change my entire eyeliner game because I used to stare at her album cover and even in person, honestly, when she'd perform live, anything, I would just look at her and I would be like, why is that eyeliner so incredible? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like from a makeup artist standpoint, I was like, there's something about this that is exceptional. What is it? And I would stare and stare and stare. And what I realized was, and I always used to do it this way, where the wing would go out and then it would almost come in and go straight and then down into the inner corner. I realized with Adele's liner, if you really look at photos of her or her album cover, whoever does her wing liner accentuates her so much more. And it's this little subtle difference that is absolutely to die for. It comes straight out and then it goes in the way it needs to, but then it goes back up and follows the exact shape of her top lash line. So basically what I learned was right around in the dead center, which you kind of overlook because it's all about the wing and it's all about making it thinner as it goes in, but right in the dead center of your eye, when you think you should just be going straight, and then down, go in and then start to curve and this, and then follow the shape of the eye. What a goddamn difference it makes. And that is what is so flawless about Adele's
thought
liner.
about that.
I would look at her and I'd be like, I have to figure that out. And I started doing that on my clients when I was doing bridal makeup. My God, it just made all the difference. It was absolutely stunning. So what I used to end up doing was I would actually start my wing liner from the inside, get it from thin to a little bit thicker, perfectly, following the exact shape as though I wasn't going to do a wing, and then I would add the wing, opposed to starting with the wing and going in.
Do you know what's actually kind of crazy now that you described it that way? I feel like I do that, and I probably don't even think about it.
Yeah, you and I both have hooded eyes. I'm not really a huge wing liner person because to get the wing out past my hood, it needs to be big. I need to do a big wing.
I go to my hairline.
That's what I mean. Or you won't see it. It's just going to get caught in the hood. Like it's going to get covered up by this.
Yeah.
So you have to go farther down and farther out than you think.
Because I was always eyes open looking straight with hooded eyes. Yes. You always want to look straight into the mirror. Don't like tilt your head back, stretch your eye, anything. And I always had to do my wings that way. And
which we could actually go more into because I have a product on this list that has perfected my wing liner ability. Perfect. So we'll go into that. Yeah. But no, I got to try this. I don't think I probably did back in those days.
I'll bring you one next time.
But I gotta try it again.
It's absolutely amazing.
Love it. Next up is the She Glam Skin Focus Powder Foundation. Yes. Where do we begin? And I honestly feel like we'll let them know what the other pick was. So this is my pick. Your pick is
the
ColourPop Powder Foundation.
Fresh.
Yes, the Pretty Fresh.
The Pretty Fresh Foundation
So
powder.
we're going to kind of put these together because we both pick powder foundations.
And they do very similar things too of why I love both.
In what we love about powder foundation, they do the same. But to me, there's a big difference in why these are both worth getting, or what the difference?
A couple.
The difference.
The hyaluronic.
Hyaluronic. I just saw another commercial came on for that the other day, and it wasn't even Longoria. It was like a narrator, and then even the narrator was saying it like that.
Hyaluronic.
She was like, hyaluronic. I'm like, why is L'Oreal making these people do this? Really punctuate all those syllables. Okay, here's why I love a powder foundation. And to be honest with you, you have been the king of powder foundations forever.
Thank you.
I was late to the game. I was afraid of them. I just felt like if I put more powder on, it was gonna make me look more textured, or it was gonna look dry or whatever. But you were always such an amazing kind of connoisseur of understanding how to apply powder foundations to be able to actually do the opposite, to fill and blur and smooth.
Oh, yeah.
And what this has allowed me to really do is actually dial back my liquids, because you don't need to put as much liquid foundation and concealer on. And when you get any age, when you get an amazing powder foundation, it can pick up the slack for what you didn't put on with liquid and not only look more natural, but wear better, because powder wears better than liquid. So I have dialed back how much liquid I'm using so much, and these pick up the slack so much. So what do you think are the similarities, or what's your favorite aspect about powder?
Speaking for both, I love when I go in after and I press in a foundation powder that looks smoothing. It doesn't change the color of my foundation. It doesn't make my base darker, even though they have the ability to make it look airbrushed and smooth and give me a little bit more coverage. They don't alter the color of my face.
Do you remember the day I came up to you at work? You were doing a makeover at the beauty studio, and you were doing this younger girl. God bless her. I hope she's doing better. Her acne was off the charts.
I think I do remember this.
Almost like cystic.
Yeah.
And I was watching you, and I was like, how the fuck are you getting her skin so full coverage that you did not see a blemish, but it was so smooth
and seamless.
And I came up to you and I said, how the do you do that? That's when you taught me press and roll.
Yeah.
Press and roll with the powder.
Oh my God. And people always used to tell me too, they were like, oh, I have a powder brush at home. I'm like, no, Mary, you need that flat, like fluffy flat brush, almost like the number 50 from Sephora collection. That like where it domes, it's very, very, very fluffy, very much like this. Yes. Where it can go flat on like both sides. So you could pick up that powder with one and
not this.
You could do something like that too.
Okay.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, yes.
I'm trying to find like the wrong brush. This.
If anything is too, yes. So we don't want to do anything that's too much of like a dome shape that's fluffy, because that is going to pick up the powder but not dispense it right on the face. You need something with a little bit more density in the bristles where it's still fluffy. You pick it up with one side of it and you want to almost press and pat this into the skin and like roll that in the skin right over texture, over pores. And I would pinch the brush even more when it's flat and get into the nose, and I would like bop it in, and then I would take a little bit more of a lighter color and go right underneath the eye and set it with a brighter shade too if I needed extra. If somebody was going on like red carpet glam and they were like, I'm having photos taken, I need to look snatched. I was like, I got you.
Absolutely.
So that's what I love about both. Now I will say, the only downside to why the She Glam one is a little bit better, the shade range of the ColourPop, you have about, I want to say in Ulta stores, there's maybe 20.
Okay.
She Glam is like 40 shades.
Insanity.
If not more. I have to give it to them. They really, the ColourPop one is excellent. It seems like it's refillable.
It is. Yes.
Yeah.
So, but I will say as well, the difference between these two for me is I consider the ColourPop is not quite as full coverage. This is more of a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury airbrush powder, where it's that,
100%.
It's a veil. If you don't have a lot to cover, I have maybe more redness I would want to cover. I would use the She Glam, because She Glam, you can get medium to full coverage out of it.
And that price point, $7, $8.
ColourPop would be better for someone like you that you don't have as much redness and you just want almost that veil to go on top of things, where I would maybe use the She Glam because that can fully cover redness, acne, like the girl with acne.
I've worn it alone.
Oh yes, wore it alone, totally. My bachelor party, I wore the powder foundation. It was completely alone.
Did you really?
Yeah, because I partnered with them for it and I was obsessed with it. And I filmed the video doing nothing but the She Glam powder the morning of my bachelor party. So that's all I was wearing.
Oh my gosh. And I think your skin looked good that day too.
God,
that was like really beautiful. Just for that too.
And it's completely waterproof. The She Glam powder, in my video, my short, I dunk it in water and the water beads right up off it.
Oh my God. Yeah. The girl had a video where she did that too. I think she poured water all over it and was like, it didn't sink in and create that film.
Not water resistant, waterproof.
Yeah.
Like it's insanity. So that's really the difference for me. If you're a Charlotte Tilbury airbrush powder, you just want something that, think of the ColourPop almost in the sense of kind of like a finishing powder, like a little bit of like that veil on top of the skin. You can build it up slightly, but I would say if you're looking for anything of like more of a medium, like coverage wise, medium to full, that's where I think the She Glam is more full.
And I like too, with the She Glam, you get a little powder puff in there too.
Yes.
So it's really nice that you can like create coverage with that. I don't love doing that all the time, but it is nice to have the option.
Yes.
And again, price point wise is great.
Unbelievable.
So you can really like get a couple shades if you want to experiment with them and go crazy.
Absolutely. All right, now we're going to hop on while it's still fresh in your minds. Speaking of the wing eyeliner thing, this is the Eye Method eyeliner stamps. Holy
You gave
Jagunda.
this to me.
Girl. Okay.
You gave this to me and now I'm like
so many products Eye Method comes out with. It's really like user-friendly stuff. So you can get this on Amazon. Normally, I think it's like $20 and they're like official retailer on Amazon. You can get it for $20. I think right now it's on sale for like $12 as we're filming. But you get two because one of the stamps is for the right eye and the other one is for the left eye. Why I love this so much is because you don't necessarily get the perfect wing out of it. You're not going to get a perfect wing liner. But there's two reasons this was iconic for me. Was A, as someone with hooded eyes, it really allowed me to have my head forward looking in the mirror, because the thing with hooded eyes is if you tilt your head back and put it where you think it is, and then you go forward, the hood comes down and it's going to cover and the angle's going to be wrong. So I can look straight and I can use the eyeliner stamp to perfectly position, like I'll put it on, and like I said, the tip isn't going to be perfectly sharp. You're not going to get an amazing wing, but what this gives you is the perfect angle, which is always my problem. Whenever I cut my wing liner, it's because it's too low or too high. This gives me the perfect angle. That's A. But B, why this became a holy grail for me was the other end. The actual eyeliner is amazing. To die for. Does not dry out, because even I love like the Rare Beauty liner, but sometimes when I store that upside down, it's either too juicy where I take it out and it's almost like dripping because it's the brush tip. And it's so, the minute I touch it to my eye, it like goes everywhere in little lines because it's so moist. Or then it's too dry where it's skipping, where this to me is so perfect. It's a bigger marker, which is crazy that you can be so accurate with it. If you're someone that struggles with wing liner, I'm telling you, this is, or even just wants a regular eyeliner pen that is to die for. I've been absolutely obsessed with this forever.
And I even challenge you, get this, even if you think you're great at wings, because I was fine. I was comfortable doing it. But this, when I tell you, it makes my life so much easier because I
twice as fast.
Yeah. I stamp out my wings, I line my eye, and then afterwards I'll go in with the Sephora one and then I sharpen out and I do my sharp lines, but it gives me the groundwork of at least I know where it's going, and then I know it's even every time.
Exactly.
You're lining up that edge of the stamp with that point of the edge of your eye. And you're just stamping. And then the other one, because let me tell you something, the Kaja one that everyone loved and whatever, and I think that went viral for the wrong reasons. This should have gone viral.
This should have gone viral.
The Kaja one, I tried it. I did not like the stamp.
They sent it
thought
to me.
it was
I didn't
too
like it.
chunky. I didn't like it. It wasn't even clean looking. I couldn't even remotely work with it. This one is incredible.
I know.
Love this. So definitely get this and go get that Sephora liner. Use them together.
Life-changing.
Amazing.
Totally.
Oh my God.
All right, girly, on to our fragrance.
There was a rumor that this was getting discontinued, and Miss Mom, I almost burned down.
Rumor starting. You better know what that is.
Lindsay Lohan, but I was confused. You had a sex voice on, and that's what was more alarming to me.
What a good song.
Well, she had
can't they back up on me?
You really like that song? I don't like that song.
Why can't they let me live?
I hate that song. They did it on Drag Race as a lip sync song, and I was like, what?
No, obsessed.
Ugh.
I listened to that while I ate Hamburger Helper. Just holding it in for that long. Yeah. We have MAC Turquatic perfume. You talked about this 2 episodes ago.
Is my jam. This has always been my jam. And I know for a fact, oh my God, you know who wears this? You know who wears this?
Who?
You know who wears this all the time? Trixie Mattel.
Really?
She wears this all the time, in or out of drag. And I was wearing this for years because I felt the same way. When I'm in and out of makeup, sometimes I feel like I want to feel my zhuzh when I'm in makeup and I feel a little more feminine. But when I like take off my makeup and I take it off at the end of the day, I want to feel like I'm still me, you know? And I'm always 100% me, but my fragrance does a lot of that. So I'll wear perfume when I put makeup on and I feel like that bitch.
Yes.
But when I'm going out, if I have full glam on, but I still want to feel like me.
I want that androgyny.
And it's a unisex fragrance is why I champion MAC, because they were always that type of brand to do things that were more universal, more of like that gender fluid kind of vibe.
Before it was the capitalistic trend.
1000%. And this is something that makes me feel like it is just so unique to like what I do too. Like it's just very like in the middle of the road. It is so beautiful. It's more of like an aquatic from the name. Obviously,
it's a little
like
summery,
very beachy vibes, but not as beachy
not
where
too
it smells
much,
like
though.
sunscreen.
I would wear it year round.
I'm not joking. When Back to Mac was still a thing, when you could recycle MAC products, I went in there one day with 8 or 9 bottles of this plus other products. And she was like, wow,
you really like this.
It was amazing to me. And then she was like, oh yeah. And she even said to me, she was like, yeah, there's like rumors that like this might be getting pulled.
Oh no.
And I just looked at her and I was like, I hope you're kidding.
Yeah.
I said, I'm about to take everything off your shelves, which is probably like a wet dream for her.
Yes.
But let me tell you something. A 1.7 of this is, guess how much it is? And MAC is pretty pricey.
Yeah. 1.7, I would say 50.
67.
Okay. All
So,
right.
like-
I'm bad with fragrance prices, but yeah.
But to give you like a reference, usually a 1.7 is usually going to run you about 100, 115.
Okay.
And most,
I have no idea fragrance
most,
prices.
most fragrance.
Yeah, I'm like $20.
Yeah, and you're like, But a lot of these brands now are like their fragrances, especially Estee Lauder, because this is Estee Lauder owned, jacking up those prices. They just came out with a Jagunda size of it. It was like huge, and I bought it. It was $80 something. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, they could be charging 115, and I would still buy it.
Love that.
So this is one of my favorites. They used to have other perfumes too that I talked about that they
Yes.
did like collections. People loved and ate those up, and this is the original one. They kept this and got rid of everything else. I'm like, why is nobody talking about this fragrance? And maybe people love it, but nobody talks about this.
And that's very interesting because I feel like fragrance is such an easy way to make money. My dad was a truck driver years and years ago, and he literally used to drive fragrance containers. And he said, he told me a story one time about how he was like in the receiving, I don't know, port like of ships or something.
I've been there too.
You were
I
the
am
port.
really on one today.
You were the port.
Yeah. I am the receiving port. Yes.
Yeah. And he said, a guy said to him, he's like, look at that drum. And there was one whole drum. And he goes, that whole drum is the pure concentrated fragrance. And he goes, that will make like 1 million bottles of perfume. Cause he goes, what you don't realize is the perfume is so concentrated. He was like, it's like 95% rubbing alcohol with like a drop of the fragrance. That's why every celebrity comes out with perfume, because it's such an easy product to make a shit ton of money.
Money-making experience.
Because it's so cheap to make and it's so easy to mark up.
I mean, Rihanna, Gaga, that whole year of everybybody coming out with fragrances, and Rihanna did like multiple. Nicki Minaj did like 400. I was
iconic.
Like,
yes. Britney was one of the OGs of all the fragrance.
Those celebrity brands. Yes. It was in that few years too. Everybody was doing
that's
it.
That's why celebrities come out with them, because it's such an easy way to make money. So I'm surprised that MAC would do that, get rid of their older ones, especially if they were that good.
No, it was the newer ones.
Or the newer ones, I'm sorry, like the collections and
people, it really did shock me. Maybe they didn't do well, but they were so beautiful. But I think this is such a staple, and it was so iconic for them. I just don't know why nobody talks about this more. I absolutely love it. I think it's such a beautiful fragrance, like especially when I go out and I just want to have like something very middle of the road, not too strong.
Love that. And can you get this in MAC stores?
You can.
Okay, if you want to go and try it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my God, go spray it. They usually have it up at the registers too, or right to the left or right of them, usually on those shelves. It's usually right by the registers, and they have a tester, and it's beautiful. So go smell it.
And the packaging is stunning.
And it's not too big. So when I travel and I throw this in a travel bag, it fits everywhere.
Yes. All right. Next up, we have the iconic London Underglow Blurring Primer. To be honest with you, I'm like, this is a product, which is why it's on this list, that it almost like is difficult for me to describe, because again, being a combo oily diva, I see the word glow and I whip it out my window. Like this.
I thought you were just going to say you whip it out.
I see the word glow and I whip. I am your gas attendant. Yeah. And I got this in PR. I got this and the blurring skin tint, which is also, it almost made the list. The iconic London skin tint, controversial. I like it better than the Fenty skin tint. If you want a lightweight skin tint, I love it so much better. This though, I have never in my life came across a product that has a subtle, finely milled, and I know that's a weird thing to say with liquid, but what I mean by that is compared to Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter or e.l.f. dupe, which you know our opinions on, it's just big, chunky shine, glow, glitter. It's just, it literally looks like you put glitter on your face. This is that glow, that absolutely beautiful, hydrating radiance to the skin. But somehow, on top of that, that doesn't make you more oily. When I tell you, as you're putting this on, the smoothness this gives your skin, the slip, without being a silicone-y, exactly, that's going to clog the pores, the most beautiful slip to the skin. Again, because of that subtle tint and glow to it, I can wear less foundation because this evens out the skin tone a little bit. And the wear I get on this, everything about it is absolutely to die for. That's my rave about this.
Oh my God.
It's one of a kind to me.
When the Skin Team came out and I felt the primer, in my head, the first thing that came to mind was, do you remember the pink serum primer that was like the dropper, and then Ulta came out with one and they still have it?
Yeah.
And it was almost like a little glistening, glimmery, shimmery. And then when you put it on, it almost had this like, it dried down to this texture that was like unreal skin.
Yeah.
But what I love about this is that, like you're saying, it gives you that slip and the blurring. It doesn't just leave like a smooth texture. It is physically blurred on the skin, but you still have this radiance. I would wear this on my bare skin.
Absolutely.
Because you look blurred. It's not until you put makeup on that it looks blurred. You look blurred when you put it on.
Yes.
Nothing else on top of it. And then with makeup on top of it, you just
even
look
better.
Like glass.
Unreal.
I love this primer.
Mature skin for this. Holy shit. I wish I had this when I did bridal makeup.
I know. And this
my God.
This is incredible.
To die for. And I'm not even a big primer person. I don't really like believe the hype of primer to a perfect extent.
Very, very few that I use. I don't believe, like Professional.
No, girl. What are we doing?
Smashbox, the original one, that's silver.
No.
Pure silicone.
Do you remember when Tati Westbrook was using Monistat gel as a primer?
She was what?
It was a lady product. Let me put it that way. I don't know specifically the brand, what it was. And it might have been like an anti-chafing situation for down there. And she literally, because it was so silicone-y, would use it as primer.
Do you remember?
This is what 2016 makeup was doing to us.
Nikki Tutorials, I don't know if it was her that originated this thing, but with the Nivea for men, the cooling shave balm as a primer, which actually was kind of lit.
I never used that.
And then do you know what I thought of the other day? And I need this to be a safe space right now.
We'll see.
So the other day, somebody said to me, they were like, when people get sweaty, right?
Yeah.
And, we have like Secure the Sweat primer from one size. And I was like, oh yeah, it didn't really like work for me. I still got a little oily, a little sweaty.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, I'm like, I mean, I know it's not good for you. And they would never make this, but I'm like, you know how they have like setting sprays that are supposed to mattify and keep you sweat resistant all day? I'm like, why don't they use something to the degree of like men's spray deodorant that keeps you sweat free all day? Something to that level, because I've used like spray deodorants are my favorite because I get very irritated. So that is the only thing that doesn't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why have we not come up with something for makeup that can mattify like that where sweat and oil can't come through it? Because if my deodorant can do it and it's not good for you.
That's what maybe it would be too pore clogging.
I mean, but bitch, if I have like one night, I'm about to use that spray deodorant.
Like an event-y situation. Yeah. Spray deodorant on your face and let us know how it goes.
That's what they said. They were like, well, you be the guinea pig for that. And I was like, honestly, I might.
Do it up.
And I'm going to be Tati now, putting
drag queens use hairspray.
Okay, that's what I'm saying though. If you can use Aquanet on your mother face.
You can. I mean, you can use anything on your face.
I can. I can put shit
you?
on my
Who
face.
knows? Yeah.
I don't know.
Try it out.
I might try it out.
Let us know.
And my face comes off. Next episode, I'm like fully
You come
red.
up like inflamed.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, it didn't work.
Wonder why. Alrighty, next up.
All right, next up we have the Revlon Colorstay Satin Ink Liquid Lipsticks. Girl,
another thing you turn me on to.
Something. So one day, I will tell you a little origin story of I would try this on a whim. I was in Ulta and I was like looking around for something, just kind of like, when you go in and you just want to buy something to make yourself feel better. So I went in and went ahead and bought this in the shade Partner in Crime 007. And I remember looking at these and the girl at the register was like, yeah, I saw these. Let me know how it works out for you next time you're in. Let me tell you something. With the trend of Urban Decay and House Labs have the ones that dry down to like that liquid lip that stays kind of glossy. What I love about this formula is that you do not need to shake it. Where Urban Decay and House, you got to shake. And then also too, the drama and conflama of letting it House Labs is like, don't let your lips touch for a minute. And then Gaga posted that video recently on YouTube where she was like fanning her mouth, and then they had to speed it up because she was there for so long not touching her lips together. And then she was like, okay, we're good.
I know.
And this one, I never think twice about it. And honestly, the shade range, they put House Labs and Urban Decay to shame. They were the ones that did it first. Revlon did it first. I have talked about these relentlessly. If you know me and you are an OG on my Instagram, you already know I have been talking about these forever.
Your go-to, the shade?
Oh my God, 001.
The most perfect cool tone situation, and it stays shiny, glossy, if you will, but dries down where it's not even going to transfer on a glass.
Doesn't transfer on a glass. And I feel like it's the best formula out of all of the ones that are like the satin no transfers. House Labs is okay. honestly starts to like feel like kind of crumbly and weird. Urban Decay is nice. It's decent.
They're shades.
But the shades are garbage. And then this one, it's this creamier, thicker consistency, but doesn't feel weird on the lips.
Yes.
And I know Give from Gwen Stefani came out with one. They came out with red. So you're not going to even like come out with more than one shade. Where Revlon,
but my
extensive shade range.
As we head into holiday season, if you want like your holiday red lip that is going to have like that shiny, beautiful red lip that is not even going to come off on a glass,
I did
die for.
Oh my God. I did a Harley Quinn and I did a blue and pink eye with this red lip. When I tell you it was this glassy cherry red.
This?
All day people were stopping me what it was. And
Send it to me and I'll put it in.
Oh my God. And I eat and drink with these and they don't move.
Don't move.
These are incredible. And they're everywhere. CVS, Walgreens,
everywhere.
Ulta, everywhere they have Revlon, they have these.
Absolutely.
So run, don't walk.
Totes.
Because they're going bankrupt. They are.
I know. All right, next up for me, and I feel like we've talked about this on the past like couple episodes. The Kiss Impress Lashes. I can't say enough about these little individual like clusters. There is a little piece of like adhesive tape on the top. So you literally take your tweezer and stick them right to the top like this. So they're not going on the top. It's not covering your eyeshadow. We both worn them to weddings and they last through a hurricane. These are the easiest lashes I've ever put on. And I've said this before, if I'm buying makeup, you know I love it because I get sent everything. When I went to Ulta, I just bought another pack of these. I showed you. They're absolutely incredible.
Amazing. They are my
beautiful,
favorite.
easy lashes I've ever used.
By far. And I hate cluster lashes.
Agreed.
I hate the drama of it all.
Yep.
Of doing like, let me put a few and like, let me see if it works. These are like different though, because these give you volume.
And you know why I always hated it? Because when you're putting clusters on top, the only place they're adhered is at the base. So what could happen was this, where you would hold your mic in my mouth. What would happen was you would put them on the lash line and they would go like this. One would be up and one would be down because they're only held on at the base.
Yeah.
Where these, they are literally the entire top of the lash is adhered to your actual lashes. So they're all uniform.
Honey, they would be doing the wheatgrass movements if you didn't have
the wave. Like as you're going. Yeah. So I'm telling you guys, if you want to dip your toe into lashes, and these have to be the most beautiful, easy, no glue, just lashes I've ever used.
Don't use that applicator. That's my only.
No, use your regular tweezers or your fingers.
Tweezer or finger, yeah.
Totes.
All right, next up, we have the Hourglass, the Unreal High Shine Volumizing Lip Gloss. Say that 3 times fast.
Yes.
And my God. But let me tell you something.
I gotta say, you're a lip gloss skank. And so for this to have made the list, is this your favorite lip gloss?
No. I will say the Buxom White Russian is my favorite.
That's your prostitution lip gloss.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, that's your goopy doo pour out of the bottle.
This is absolutely incredible. Specifically the shade Provoke and Fever. So Fever replaced Marc Jacobs' Cherry Moon, which was that hot pink that I loved. And this was the exact same color. And then became a fast favorite, but Provoke is the most cool tone, perfect nude.
Wow. Is that this?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
I put this, and it looks darker on the photo. It goes on like nobody's business, and I can't get enough of these glosses.
Yeah.
A little goes such a long way too, because the applicator holds a lot, and it's flat, so it holds so much.
And I was going to say, I think I have one of these. They're pretty fuller coverage.
Yes. And you know me, I love to goop on a gloss.
To be honest with you, and you're going to hate me for this, that's why I don't love Buxom lip gloss. They're not that full coverage to me.
Oh, I agree. That's why I have to goop it on. I removed the stopper from my Buxom glosses because I need to like...
That's where like, because it's I'm like, what the hell is this doing?
Oh no, yeah, I agree.
This is coverage, yes.
You need one, and that's what I love about this applicator. It holds enough where it's full coverage, and I can control it where I usually just pop a little bit on, use both sides of the applicator, and I'm done. Like I love these, and I've worn it alone with lip liner. They are the most stunning glosses. They have more sheer ones too. Halo is like a white pearlescent shimmer in like a clear base. So if you just want that like almost like Diamond Milk from Fenty lip.
Last but not least is the Revlon Colorstay Full Cover Foundation. Okay, so this is such a recent find for me. I absolutely fell in love with my Dior matte foundation. This was like the GOAT for me. It was incredible. The reason I found this was when I filmed on Allie Glein's channel with her, and we did the collaboration. It was all drugstore. And to be honest, I really didn't have a drugstore matte foundation that I loved. So what I did, knowing I was going there, was I bought every mother drugstore matte foundation I could find. And I wore them and I wore them and I wore them leading up to it to see how I liked it. This blew me out of the water. It's a moussier consistency, which I love for someone with pores, which people who do have combination and oily skin tend to have enlarged pores on the nose and T-zone. The moussey texture, this blurs like no one's business, is more mattifying than Dior. This wears better than Dior, where this is the foundation I've said before on the pod. I wore this to the Beyonce concert at the end of July, 92-degree weather, outdoor in Philly Stadium. So it was 92 degrees until 10 p.m. I got home. I was barely shiny and not an ounce of the makeup was broken up. This has to be one of the not only drugstore, but best mattifying foundations I have ever used in my life. If you are excessively oily and you actually want a foundation that is not going to let the oil come through on your nose.
I have to try this.
It's breathtaking. And I would even challenge that you not being as oily as me, the moussiness this has is still so beautiful. This would look stunning on you even with less oily skin than me.
I want to run and go get this right now.
It's to die for. It's absolutely stunning. And I feel like because of all the glow, drugstore matte foundations are the hardest to find because everything is Glow City or tints or tinted moisturizers. It's not the same level of representation for oily skin at the drugstore as it is for dry
You're right.
skin.
Oh, and this is part of their Colorstay line. So same thing as the satin ink liquid lip.
Yep.
So it's that long wear formula.
She ain't moving.
Love
it.
this. Oh my God, I can't wait to try this.
I know.
This sounds so incredible.
So this is our products we wish could have gone viral. If you've already tried these or you want to try any of these, let us know because we'd love to know your thoughts.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys, that is it for our brand new episode of Beautiful or Bothered. Make sure to
Or bothered.
Motherfucker. I'll get the title of our podcast we've done. We're going on almost 40 episodes.
Yeah.
And I can't get the title right. Thank you so much for listening or watching to a brand new episode of Beautiful and Bothered. We have the neon sign coming in, by the way, everybody.
Oh my God.
She's ordered.
So
hopefully.
when do I get to take the sledgehammer to this one?
I know,
apparently, because my name isn't on there.
When do you get to slash my ego?
Yeah.
Thank you for watching or listening to a brand new episode of Beautiful and Bothered. Make sure to subscribe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review, pretty please.
Yes,
If you want your episode one day early, make sure to subscribe to the official YouTube channel to get your video episode on Sunday. And wherever you are, we hope you are happy, safe, and healthy. And remember,
You are beautiful.
bye, guys.
Bye.